welcome to Strong and Sassy on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Noeli Aram Abla Iwisi, and I'm sitting in for our regular host, Enim Ado. Tonight, we're talking about honesty in relationships, as in how much honesty is too much honesty. And MFR said before she left the show that honesty is an ewenim, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about honesty in relationships, and like I said, how much is too much? What should we be honest about, and what should we keep to ourselves? Tonight I have two gorgeous newbies in the studio, and we have Rhoda Omare. She's an educator and a feminist. She's looking beautiful in the studio. We also have Yael Israel Tondi. Did I get it right? Yes, she's the business development manager for Impro Technology Limited. Ladies, welcome to the show. And we're going to have our very own Esinam Batali, who is a digital marketing strategist and baby girl for life. Hi, Esinam. Esinam is literally walking into the studio and she's collecting fans. I mean, yes, who does that?
Yes. Hi.
Hi, Esinam.
Hi,
how have you been?
I'm good.
Girl, we miss you.
Charlie, the system is systeming. Life is happening, so.
The system is systeming, life is happening, but you look good. And you see, please, if you are listening to us on radio, just go to Facebook. We're live on Facebook. Jeez. Check us out, because the ladies are seated, they're looking gorgeous. And if you have an honesty story to say, someone was honest to you, you were like, ish. Call us on 030-221-6541, 030-221-6541, or you can WhatsApp us on 055-111-1997, 055-111-1997. All my friends that were commenting when I made the post, please call and ask some of your honesty stories. Now, tonight's conversation was born out of a conversation that happened. A husband and a wife had some interesting honesty situation, and some truth bombs were dropped. We're going to play the sound for you, and then we'll jump right into the conversation. Stay with us.
My husband just admitted that I'm ugly.
Hey!
Okay, my husband just admitted that I'm ugly.
No!
I've always known I'm no beauty queen. It's just a fact of life I've had to accept. But for the past 4 years, my husband has made me feel like I'm the hottest woman on the planet. He's always telling me how beautiful I am, and somehow I started to believe it. Last night, he had his buddies over to hang out like usual. I was upstairs making snacks when I overheard them talking about me. A couple of guys were teasing my husband, calling me a troll and making horrendous comments about my appearance. How can you stand to climb into bed with that cow every night, one asked. She looks like the love child of Charles Entertainment Cheese. And a double door fridge, another one goes. I froze in place, unable to believe what I was hearing. My husband exploded on them. Listen up, idiots. I know she's ugly, but shut your mouth. She makes me happy. When's the last time any of you kept a relationship longer than a couple of years? I felt like I'd been sucker punched. I started bawling and ran to the shower before anyone could hear me. By the time I came out, everyone had left. I mustered up the courage to confront my husband, and he shrugged it off. Beauty is within, honey. Don't worry about what those guys said. I had to know the truth. Do you really think I'm ugly? He sighed. You're just unique looking, but why does that matter? I felt like I'd been stabbed in the heart. How am I ugly? I asked. Come on, don't make me say it, he groaned. But I stood there, arms crossed, waiting. Fine, he snapped. Oh, you're a little big boned, but I like thick girls, and you have a kind of droopy face, but some guys are into that whole sad puppy dog thing. Your style is frumpy. You're not aging the best, but taken all together, you've still got a certain charm. Each backhanded compliment was another dagger to my soul. I stared at him in disbelief as he kept rattling off more criticisms, trying to soften the blows, but making them land even harder. You've let yourself go, but it doesn't matter to me. You're still one hell of a cook. Hey, you'll never be on the cover of Vogue, but that's all right. But you look all right with the lights off. Finally, I couldn't take anymore. I ran off crying as he called after me. Come on, don't be so sensitive. You asked for the truth. I still love your droopy face. And all his words echoed in my head, shredding what little self-esteem I had left.
He said, I still love your droopy face.
He's crazy. The man I loved more than anything, who I thought loved me just as deeply, seemed to find me utterly repulsive on the outside. I locked myself in the bathroom, sobbing into the sink, wishing I could disappear down the drain and escape this nightmare. This isn't the kind of thing a marriage can recover from easily. I'm so lost now and don't know how we can move past this after 4 years of feeling like the luckiest woman alive. How did everything fall apart so fast?
Ladies, oh God, I can see the reactions in the studio, but you, if you just listen to this, like I said, you can call us later in the show, 030-221-6541. You can send us a WhatsApp, 055-111-997. Just say, let's go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will delve into this conversation. We'll be right back.
The Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty LEAP program will commence the payment of money to beneficiary households for the 85th and 86th cycles on the 4th of September 2023. The amount paid to beneficiary households is not the same, but is determined by the number of eligible members. The amount of money you will receive every 2 months is and will double. It's double. One eligible member household will receive 128 Ghana cedis. 2 eligible members will receive 152 Ghana cedis. 3 eligible members will receive 176 Ghana cedis. And 4 and more eligible members will receive 212 Ghana cedis. Beneficiary households will receive double of the new cash grant amount. All caregivers of households should count their money before leaving the pay point or ask your community volunteer or the social welfare officer to assist. Not to accept any amount paid to them which is less than expected. Demand receipt after being paid and keep it for reference. Not give part of your money to anyone for any reason. Spend money on your household, especially on nutrition and other productive activities, because you will not be on the program forever. Report any concerns or complaints to your community volunteer, district social welfare officer, or these toll-free numbers 0800-800-800 or 800-900-900. The amount you receive is double. This message is from the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection and the LEAP Management Secretariat.
Hello and welcome back. This is Strong and Sassy on Joy 99.7 FM. And today we're talking about honesty in relationships. If you just joined the show, we just played a soundbite that has everybody in the studio in shock. And I want to hear the ladies we have in the studio. We have Rhoda, we have Yael, and we have Esinam. Esinam, your first thoughts?
The first time I saw it on TikTok, I was like, why are human beings so wicked? Like, how do you tell somebody these things? And it looked to the lady like this was the first time she was hearing that he feels this way about her. And they've been together for 4 years. This is not the time to be honest. If he had the chance to be honest way before, in the first year he had the chance to be honest. The second year passed, the third year passed, and the fourth year, after the fourth year, you are telling her that she looks good with the lights off.
What does that even mean? Okay, you hold on to that. You're still pondering on what to say, right? Yael, your first thoughts on this sound.
He married you because you were convenient. He has no real value for you other than the fact that you can clean, you can cook, and you probably give him good sex. She was a convenience for him, and he probably was like, thank you, dear. He probably was a catch for her. And I feel like she's been living in an illusion for 4 years, thinking that everything was great. And lo and behold, she was the fly on the wall that heard a conversation she never was meant to hear and heard how he truly feels. The question is, what does she do now? Because I would have left.
Okay, Rhoda.
I mean, I think we should actually distinguish between being honest from a place of love and affection and wanting to bond and communicate and, create some trust and intimacy, and being brutally honest, which is more of a license to berate someone and tell it as it is, And so, like, she says something that I thought was really good, which is a conversation you should not have heard. I mean, people do have what they think of every one of us. We also have what we think of people. And if we were to bear it all, I'm not sure that we would be, And so it suffices to actually be more contained and be more guarded in what you say, especially as there are these flies on the walls and people could be listening on your conversation. But then, like she said, it boils back down to where did it start from? Is this something that he's always known but still went ahead because it was convenient, and for her as well. And so both of them would have had to make choices that seemed good at that point. But now I know what you think of me. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Should that change anything? It's up to them.
Now, I'll be playing devil's advocate back and forth, but then that begs my major question. How much honesty is too much honesty? And is this an example of one? Esnam?
I honestly think it's a timing thing for this particular thing. I feel like if she had heard that this is how he feels about her, probably in the first year of the relationship, they would have had a conversation, or what do I do to, look better, or how would you even help me? It's coming from a place of care and support that, okay, this is how I feel about you. I feel like if you work on a couple of things, because we're not perfect as humans as we are, even though we are advocating that people take us as we are, there's still more room for improvement, and everybody is trying to improve themselves day in and day out. So if he had informed her about all the negatives he has in his mind about her way earlier, this is probably something that could have been worked on for a minute. Because if you're saying that I'm overweight and my droopy face and all that, all those things are things that could have probably been worked on if it came from a place of care. But we are hearing it after I'm overhearing your conversation with your friends, which means that you've told them this about me a long time ago. Especially considering we've been together for 4 years. Every year, these your friends will see me and be smiling in my face, but gossiping about me behind me, saying all these things about me. And like, that kind of flashback will be very, very painful. Like, thinking about it and remembering everything. So like she said, I would leave, right? Because I feel like that kind of honesty should have come earlier, which answers your question as in, when you think of something, the moment you notice something that you're not comfortable with, be honest in that very moment. Because when you wait and make decisions based on that and form conclusions based on that before you are telling the other party, you're not being fair.
Yeah. And I mean, I would be later be asking you ladies in the show if you've had similar experiences, because I found myself in a situation which literally led to like me breaking off a relationship, because I feel like I was told half-truths. And when I found out and I confronted the person, I mean, we're talking about honesty, and for me, lying is like a subset of that, right? And I confronted this person. The person told me, if I told you the truth, you wouldn't have agreed to be in a relationship with me. And I was like, wow. So, that is also a subset. But I mean, Yael, like, is this a situation of being too honest? Is there a thing like that? And is this an example of one?
I actually think it's the opposite. I actually think he wasn't honest.
Yes.
He was flat out lying to her.
The whole time?
The whole time, because, I mean, he called her droopy face. And you compared her to a dog. So let's be real, you just called her a bee. You said that she isn't aging well. We already have, as women, so much against us as far as our looks. Now we have to deal with the whole ageism, and you're not aging well. You told her that, that she's overweight. Well, my dear, if I'm overweight or if you don't like my weight, have you tried to engage me where we may do some exercises together? I mean, there's just so many things that was revealed in that conversation that says that he was never being honest with her about how he felt about her. So this isn't, to me, a conversation about honesty. This is more of him being dishonest, and then also him being malicious And oh well, you know what? The cat is out the bag. Let me just tell you completely how I feel. But you'll stay with me anyways. You're lucky to have me.
Rhoda.
Yeah, I think we should also be careful about way we hoard everything that is going on with us, our feelings, and one day wake up and decide to bury it all and say, today I'm going to heap it, and so you have to take it. Like she said, it's we're building a relationship and we want to trust one another. And so at every point in time, we need to share our feelings and our thoughts. What you don't do is to hoard it all and one day heap it up and say, you have to take it. I'm being honest. There is, in fact, the line is not even thing. It is very glaring that this is disrespect. People would disrespect you and claim, oh, but I'm being honest. You're being downright rude. You're being discourteous and you're being impolite. And so we should be able to see through that. And sometimes sometimes people claim they're being being honest, I should say, but actually they're gaslighting you because you're trying to make me feel bad about myself. It is not coming from a place of love, of respect, of care, of, oh, let's do this together. Let's do this activity together. Let's, run together. Let's jog. It's not coming from a place where you really want to do anything about what you think is a problem. Meanwhile, some of these so-called problems that were enlisted were actually natural. People grow, people age, people get droopy face. You marry somebody in 2014, you don't expect them to be the same in 20, people have to grow. If women, and when you're dealing with women, you need to be extra careful because are you expecting the woman to have given birth? Have you seen a pregnant woman before? Your stomach bloats. And so people are unrealistically expecting that after you go through that experience, somehow you need to look like a model, have a flat tummy. And so you think that, if you're telling me that, then you're being honest. You're being unrealistic.
Okay.
Because were you really expecting me to do that? And most of these men, actually, you'd see them and they haven't given birth and they have big bellies.
They'll tell you that they carried the pregnancy with you. Oh. Now, one thing she said was that she knew about these things. She admitted that I know that I'm not the most beautiful person, right? But then, so what was really the problem with her hearing exactly what was reinforced about her? I'm playing the devil's. They are looking at me.
She already knew about it.
They are looking at me crazy. Let me come to you. Yael has like a kinder, softer way of looking at me. Esnam is just looking at me like
I want to stab you because what you're saying.
No, like if you already knew it, why are you shocked? I think that's what she's saying.
Like that's where I'm like. I mean, why was she shocked? Because she knew these things about herself.
Be sweet. She already complimented you.
It wasn't so much to me, in my opinion. It wasn't so much that it was a shock that maybe she knew some of these things. I mean, of course, that's like me. We all can see me. I'm a big woman.
Me too.
And me walking around thinking that I'm a size 6. And, my husband, oh, you're a size 6. And then when he finally said, baby, we know you're a size 22. American. That's big. Time to lose some weight. And I'm like, it's one thing to know something and lie to yourself, but for me, it wasn't so much that she was shocked. It was that he had such a little opinion
of her.
I know that other people call me ugly. Listen, as women, there's people out there who call Beyonce ugly.
Yeah.
And any woman who you'll meet in this studio, in this building, or on this road will tell you Beyonce is top tier. And yet you will find someone who will say she's ugly. So beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but you as my husband.
Absolutely. You're the last person
you are supposed
to tell me that I'm ugly.
Thank you. You're supposed to see the beauty in me.
Absolutely.
And if you're telling me with your words, and we're talking about honesty in a relationship. Me down. And you're telling me I'm beautiful, and then later on you tell me, well, actually, I think you're as ugly as as ugly can get because you look better with the lights off, meaning you look better when I don't see you. Well, then that is
those
shocking.
words were used. You are ugly looking. Like, I know she's a bit ugly looking.
It's downright insulting. There's nothing. It's not even brutally honest. This is insulting. This is berating. You're casting aspersion. It's as if you're talking to your enemy, someone you hate. Yeah. Are you really going to be able to nurture a relationship after this?
So I think that what we're trying to say is that the difference between being brutally honest or insulting in honesty is the intention and how you do it. So if you do it out of love, and instead of saying maybe you are this, you're Asian, or you know that she's put on weight, what have you done to help her with that? But how we are all reacting to this now comes to what I've heard people say, which I disagree with, and I'm sure you ladies do, is say women can't handle the truth. What do you ladies have to say to that? I'll start with Rhoda. She's giving me the eye. She's like,
Well, so it depends on what truth and why. What do you think? Why you think I should hear it anyway?
And because
and
someone,
truth?
and
exactly.
Someone will say this is the truth. You feel that way, and you look that way, and I'm telling you. So what's the problem?
But see, that's the point. That's why I bought a mirror. I don't want you to tell me. If it is true, then it should be by default. I should know it. If I walk into a room,
and you should know. So what's the problem?
Okay, so why are you saying that?
I know. So I think people should, get jobs, because if you're really busy with your own life, why do you make a career of? I've seen this about you. I have to tell you. Why do you think I have to know? I have a mirror. I see my face. I know what I'm dealing with. People should really get their own lives in order and stop insulting people in the name of I'm being honest. I'm telling you the truth. If it's the truth, then you have to swallow it. Yeah. It is not every truth. Not to quote the Bible, but to quote the Bible, says that the truth has to be said with grace. That Jesus Christ was with, truth, but with grace. And so it could be the truth, but how you communicate it matters. And when, where, the mood, you need to read the room. Is the person going to be able to receive it? Is it ripe? Is it time? Is it, so all of these factors will come. And so if you want to tell me that I should even listen to you, you should give me that respect and check the room, check my mood. Do we even have that relationship? If I'm not really close to you, there's certain truths that must stay in your head, because I'm not going to take it from you.
Yeah,
a close friend of mine can tell me something, but if you're telling me, who are you again? What's your locus? No, so it is true, but you don't have the right.
An inverted fridge.
You don't have the right to tell me every truth that comes to your mind about me. And so you need to check your relationship with people before you go say, "Oh, I've seen you, or you are this." Yeah, but who are you to her?
I know my friend Ines will be like, "Yeah," because someone tried to tell her. She's like, "I don't keep what it. Is the relationship?"
Who said your opinion matters?
Right now, can social we media. Handle our truth as women?
Let's look at it this way.
Okay.
Everybody has insecurities.
Absolutely.
And for most women, how they look matters, because again, most of relationships have been reduced to looks and our ratings of women, and is she a 10? Is he? All those things place undue emphasis on looks. So if I look a bit different than the regular standard of beauty, or than the white man's standard of beauty, or than the African standard of beauty, or than any other individual standard of beauty, in the person's mind, I am not a 10. But that's your opinion, and that's fine. You can see me and say, okay, I'm not the type of woman, but I have things that I worry about. I don't need you to come and remind me of the things that I'm already worrying about. That's not very kind, because imperfection is part of everybody. Yours may not be in your looks. It may be in your behavior. It may be in your character. You may have a flaw. As an individual, you have your own problems. I don't go around carrying a megaphone, sounding your insecurities out to the world. So you telling people what you think about me, you telling your friends without even telling me first, you are telling your friends what you think about me in such a demeaning manner. That is so unfair. And that sort of makes it's malicious in itself. It looks as if you were intending to hurt the person. So yes, I can handle the truth if you tell me, and maybe if it's not something I'm willing to hear in that moment, I probably distance myself from you, because to be honest, it's not everything we want to hear, and it's not everything that we're okay with other people telling us to our face. So we'd just rather mind our business. If you think that yours you are the truth crusader and yours is to tell the truth everywhere, fine, go ahead. If someone tells you your truth, don't be upset though.
Sometimes some people are able to dish, but they can't take.
Yes.
So,
So let's just mind our business.
That's like 99% of the people on social media. Honestly, So I don't want to take the subject away from it, but since we are on here, number one, I really do blame social media for a lot of these things. I grew up before this whole social media craze. I'm telling you my age now.
Yeah, but she looks good though. You should check her out. Like she doesn't look her age. So whatever era it was,
and please, everybody is fine the way they are. You're beautiful the way you are.
Absolutely.
You're perfect.
And before this whole social media thing, honestly, I'm from the States. You walk up to somebody and say something like that, even as a husband to a wife, you're likely to get slapped or punched.
One time.
Maybe we need to start bringing back punching people. People just say the most.
We
don't condone violence, but in your mind, you can do it. In your mind.
Yeah. So okay, when you're done, speaking.
But it's like, my mother used to always tell me this: it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Absolutely.
Had her husband said to her, well, baby, over the years, because I know that you may have had children, you may have had certain health things that maybe you've let yourself go, but I think maybe if you buy a new dress or if you pull your hair back or maybe do some things, we can look good. I'll go out to the gym with you. It's not always so much about the actual message, but the delivery of the message. So if he intentionally decided to deliver the message in a way to her that he knew would tear her down. Well, now this whole conversation is just giving me insight into what is your relationship really like with him? Because it seems to me that he's been holding an arsenal of things to say to you.
Yeah.
And he's been waiting for the moment to release it.
Yeah. Rhoda, you wanted to say something?
Yes. So I think you said something that struck a chord. I think we've veered from a society that cared about people's feelings and emotions to become a society that just wants to bear it all. And so in doing that, we become very unkind and cruel. I think we need to, as they say, it's hackneyed, but we need to go back to our roots where people were kinder, where, like she was saying, not the punching bit, but, people would not readily want to just tell you what they think. I think we're hiding behind social media to become a bunch of cruel, wicked people who jump on the bandwagon. Oh, we're all laughing at this person, so let's all just do it. You don't know who they are. You don't know where you're going to meet them. Your wife, your husband, your friend. It doesn't matter. I can just join any group of people to berate people. So I think we need to, as a society, interrogate, are we really kind? Are we not losing our morals in the name of honesty? Because social media will give you that anonymity to hide, and people that you don't measure up to in real life. When you meet them, you cower. You're afraid of them. But behind social media, you're a keyboard gangster. So you can tell them anything you want. Let's go back to being respectful. Let's go back to being kind. And let's stop being cruel. It is not social media. You're just being cruel.
You're just a rude person, to be honest.
Exactly.
You're just rude. And most of those people, they hide. I'm sorry, dear. They hide behind. Most of those people, you can't even see how they look. Right. They will intentionally make sure that they say something nasty to you, and then they got Hello Kitty.
I was gonna say that. Like half the time, I have this rule, right? I have this rule. Like if someone says something nasty, just go check their profile picture. Then you will decide if you want to engage with this person or not. Check them out, because to be honest,
they're projecting their insecurity. A lot of times when people attack you, it's actually because they themselves do not feel proud about themselves, and so they want someone. Misery loves company, and so they need to make you as miserable as them.
Absolutely.
You don't even need to check them out. As soon as somebody does that, that's a projection of insecurity, and it tells you they're not, at your level.
We know you have a lot to say, so you can call us on the show 0302216541, 0302216541, and you can continue sending us your WhatsApp messages, which I'll read shortly, and also in the comments on Facebook 0551111997. Now, just to shy away from this a bit, because I'll come back and then before we conclude, probably ask how should we be having difficult conversation, or how could this man have handled this? But one thing that I've noticed is, coming from this, you met this woman a certain way. You probably dated her, and then you chose to marry her. Because how he was saying all of this is like something that you felt and people say, and then you decide to come at her with this. Am I wrong if I say that sometimes, men are not selecting people that they want to be with, but maybe they are compromising on what they want and then settling with someone that they think they can bully. Like I feel everybody understands.
I mean, I've been saying this for a very long time now, that most Ghanaian men tend to be with people that they feel like they can keep a home, quote and unquote, just because the person is more homely. They like to cook, they like to take care of things, and they are very nurturing. They are willing to say, okay, forget the looks part, forget the person's appearance physically or how they talk, whatever I don't like about them. The fact that they are nurturing and homely is the green flag, and it's my go ahead to marry this person. And then it looks like they're settling. Because when you hear this person talk, and I know this person's not Ghanaian, but when you hear this person's description of the wife, it looks like you have a drooling face, but you can do this.
I mean, you can
you
just
have
get a
this
chef.
face, but you can do this. So it looks like, okay, I'm compromising on all the things that matter to me, but I can accept you for your strengths, and so I can marry you. And that's a very wrong way to approach things. Marry who you like physically. If physical attraction matters to you now, you need to make that very, very clear to yourself and stop living in denial. I know Dululu is the Solulu, but no, not in this case.
Esinam, what is Dululu?
Dilulu is the Solulu. Delusion is the solution.
That is not even a thing.
Oh, you
I think she
see.
just made that up.
Oh, you will see it online very
We need to
soon.
hashtag that.
Dilulu is the Solulu.
That is not even a thing. But I completely agree with you. And I'll give you an example before Yao and Rhoda comes in.
Sure.
So there was this guy who said he liked me, blah, blah, blah. And we like vibe.
Go
but-
you.
I know, right? I mean, I'm a catch and I'm a 10 and I say so.
All right.
Yes,
And
that's
he-
it. That's
And
all.
he was like, oh, like, you know, we vibe, but like me, I like slay queens, like girls who get their face done, have their long wigs. And I'm like, sir, have you seen my hair? And I'm not wearing wigs for you. And I'm not doing my makeup on a weekday for you. Okay. Like, he's like, he wants to come home and you all dolled up. Ain't nobody got time for that. And so he had to go stage left and I went stage right.
That's all.
You know, so if looks are important to you, men, like, stop compromising on what you want. If you want a like 6-pack lady with the everything, go for that, and then get a chef and a cleaner. Like, Yael, let me come to you.
I'm laughing because a lot of these men want what they can't get. First of all, I was scrolling on, what was it, YouTube or something, and it was saying that men want, so the men themselves are a 6, they want a 10, and they'll settle for a 4 because that 4 will make their 6 feel like a 10.
Ooh, that's a good one. Say it
So I'll repeat it one more time. So the man will be a 6. He will want a 10, but he know he can't get the 10, so he will settle for a 4 because that 4 will make him feel like the 10
Oh, yeah.
because he's above her. And that's what I'm seeing a lot of time when it comes to looks. Another thing is that a lot of men, in my opinion, now I'm not a man, so I can't speak for all of them.
We
but
apologize in advance, but yeah.
But in my opinion, I think that a lot of men also don't want to be seen in a certain light if they want a woman to look with that certain aesthetic. And then what we've been seeing right now is that women that have that aesthetic don't have the homemaker component.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want you to look really great, but I also want to take care of my home. So I'll settle with the one who can take care of the home, but then secretly
Cheat on
I'll
you
be
with the
wishing, he'll be with another.
And he will cheat.
He'll
with
cheat,
another.
and he'll be wanting you to look like that.
yeah.
And behind your back, he'll be talking about that with his friends and all of that stuff. So it's like,
Comparing you the entire time with her.
exactly. So if you couldn't get what you wanted, don't settle for me. Let me be with somebody who's okay with my droopy face.
Yeah, and I mean, back in uni, there was this guy, like, still in this, who like skinny girls, but you're going to my friend who is thick, telling her to lose weight. Like, who does that?
I know. Men do that.
Like, and that's the whole thing. 6 and 4 thing they're saying. Like, you just want to, I mean, top up with my 4 to make you be a 10. When in real life you're a 6.
You don't measure up.
Rhoda, are men settling and then trying to give us pressure to look a certain way?
Obviously. I mean, look around us. Men are settling. I think what you see, we shouldn't forget that men. Society says you ask for a woman's hand in marriage. Don't forget that hand, because that's what you're going to use to cook and clean and sweep and
I never thought about it that way.
So they're not asking for your, at that point, they're not asking for your brain or your looks or whatever in marriage. It's your hand, because I mean later they need your hand to cook and do all the domestic stuff. And so don't take the, society at their own words. They're asking for your hand in marriage. But yeah, back to your question. Men are always settling and all coming back to cry, but can you just like make up? Can you just like do this? Because they go back in town and they see what they really liked. And I think it is because of the kind of society that we're in. I mean, whether we like it or not, we're in a patriarchal setting. It might not be as bad as some other settings, but we really are in a patriarchal setting where men have been raised to see women as a divide. So they are the good women who are homey and cookie and churchy and God knows what, and then there are the slave queens who don't know how to do all of those things. And so, well, this is not a woman we take home. So when you want to marry, take this kind of woman. But after you take her, then you cheat on her with this slave queen. And so women suffer. Yeah. Because you can be with a man and give him all your life and date him and everything, and when it's time for marriage, society says you don't fit, you're not looking virtuous enough, so he goes to the virtuous group and ditches you.
Proverbs 21,
right?
It's 31.
Proverbs 31 woman.
Wait.
And then so it's
and now I get it right.
It's please. Lulu woman.
Oh,
the
Lulu is the solution.
Right. So no, let me make my point. They start with you as a slave queen all dolled up, and society says but she can't pray, she can't cook, she won't endure, she won't forgive, so you're gonna marry, you need to go here. And so they ditch this one and go, and that's why you see on Facebook, I've been with him for 20 years and they left me and went for our kind of woman, prayerful woman that would, whatever. I like my sleep too much, so, I mean, pray for yourself. Why is that my burden? And so we need to know that women are suffering if you do that, because it's like a cycle, a vicious cycle. You start with a slave queen, go to the church woman, come back to the slave queen to cheat on that church woman with a slave. So what do you want? Right. Own it. If you want a woman with this kind of look, go for it. Society would always speak. Society would always talk. But what do you want as a person? So I think that men should really get serious and own, because we all know what you want. We know that you want this kind of person. And meanwhile, are we really going to pamper men to say that you want this kind of person? Why?
I mean, I always ask people when I meet a guy, I'm like, I want the specs of your ex. But before we get into that, Esna wants to say something. Hold on.
I was just going to say that go for what you want. I mean, you don't have to want a particular type of person, but just be honest with yourself and just go for what you want. It's simple.
And don't forget that we also want what we want, and maybe sometimes you're not what we want, but we'll talk about that when we come back from the break. This is Strong and Sassy. We'll be right back.
The voters registration exercise 2023 is here with us now.
The Electoral Commission is making preparations for voters registration exercise from 12 September to 2nd October 2023 to enable citizens who have turned 18 years or persons who have not previously registered to visit the EC office in their district and register as a voter ahead of the upcoming district level elections 2023. The registration exercise is in line with the Commission's mandate to compile the register of voters and revise it at such periods as may be determined by law. Every eligible Ghanaian should visit the EC office in their district and present their Ghana card or passport for inclusion in the voters register. Applicants who do not have a Ghana card or passport are required to bring two persons who are already registered voters to guarantee their registration. Do not register again if you have lost your voter ID card. Replacement of voter ID cards will start from 3rd October 2023 after the registration exercise. Transfer of votes will also be done from 3rd October to 9th October 2023. It is a criminal offense for a guarantor to guarantee for more than 10 people, non-Ghanaians and persons who are not 18 years of age. Guarantors who violate this provision will be prosecuted. The voters' registration exercise is part of efforts to ensure credible, transparent, and peaceful elections in Ghana. Register to vote. Your vote is your power.
The voters' registration exercise 2023 is here with us now.
Introducing Pick 4 from Game Park Games, the easiest lottery to play and win. Pick 4 numbers from 0 to 9 up to 3 times a day to become one of our daily winners. More moolah, more power. Play online at www.gameparkgames.com or dial *946# to play. Game Park Games is regulated by the National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Pick 4 from Game Park Games. More moolah, more power.
Hello and welcome back. This is Strong and Sassy on Joy 99.7 FM. And today we're talking about honesty in relationships, and the conversation has been conversationing. If you missed it on radio, just go to Facebook and start all over again. And we have been getting into it. And before we went on commercial, we were taught, I asked if men are settling, and the debate went on when we were on the break. Now, Rhoda, are women also settling? It's like a lot of settling. Are women settling?
Absolutely, yes.
How are we doing that?
I mean, women are humans.
Yeah.
The reason that men find compelling enough to settle, women are entitled to settle as well. And so if I want a particular kind of man, but then I've met another who would help me in a certain ways, maybe social status or money or whatever it takes, well, then I'm going to settle. And so settling, let's not forget, is not the prerogative of only men. Absolutely. Women can also do that.
So we can also get like droopy face men, probably because they have money.
Stay with because of the money, and then because of whatever, you know. And so women settle as well. I think we should make that point. A woman should settle because men have been benefiting from settling. And so, yeah, let's all settle together. All right, what's good for the goose?
Always for the gander. Yael. She has so much to say, I promise.
I'm kind of pulled in between two because I've met some good men in my life. I'm married to a really good one, and I've known those men to just tell you what they want, and they go, and I've seen them outside of my husband, like seeing them go exactly for what they want and be satisfied for what they want. So I believe that, you know, like she said, both men and women can settle. And then you do have both men and women who are quite decisive, are quite forward about what they want and go after it. But coming back to what you say, that women also settle, I see it all the time. I won't go into names because this is the internet and I don't need nobody dragging me. But there's a certain small American funny person, I'll put it at that, man, left the first one, went to the second one, cheated on the second one, and when I see the second one, wife, I looked at him and I'm like, baby, if it wasn't for the fact that you had money, that type of woman would have never looked in your direction, would have never looked in his direction, because everything that most women want for men was not something that person outside of the money
could provide.
Possess.
Yeah,
exactly. And we all, you know, those who are the naysayers and the seers of these types of relationships, as we see these gorgeous women with these really rich men, we know that in a way you settled on the looks, you swapped out the looks for riches.
Yeah.
So I do believe men and women do both settle.
S&M. What? Say it.
When it comes to settling, right, and the idea of settling, yes, people settle regardless of gender. People settle on things they don't want because maybe they do the analysis and they weigh the pros and the cons, and then they realize that, oh, I'm better off here than here.
I mean, people say you should rather cry in a Lambo than cry in Trotro.
You know,
I don't want to cry at all.
Right. The voice of people is the voice of God.
Wow.
I mean, that Dululu is the Sulu.
Wow. Wow. You see, there it comes to place.
In this context, it does, but continue.
Yeah. So we can see people who are with people who have money, and they are being treated poorly. And so then I'd rather cry in a Benz comes in than cry in a Deo Matters.
Oh.
But at the end of the day, is this still what you want?
Yeah.
Does this align with your goals?
Yeah.
Having the awareness to even know what you want, and whether the person, whether you're settling or not, do they fit in your goals?
Yeah.
Because other than that, you find yourself constantly looking for more, constantly looking out. And for a society like ours that gives permission for men indirectly to do whatever they want, it's easier for them to settle and still have their cake and still eat it, than it is for women. So we are mostly at the disadvantaged point. That's why it's important that as a woman, you really, really pick who you want to be with. Yeah. Own your choices and own your decisions. If it's coming from a place of awareness where you've studied your life and you look like, okay, this person, even though they don't have the looks, they still have the brains, they still have the grades, they care for me, they can take care of me, and they can help me reach my goals. I'm in a better place with them, regardless of whether they don't meet my look standards.
Exactly.
I think that should be the most important thing. Yeah. And also looking at being honest. If the person is not your spec, naturally say it.
Yeah,
you need to just own that too. Just tell the person that I don't think that look wise you're my spec, but all the other things make up for the fact that you don't look like what I'll typically go in for.
I mean, to be honest, if you said so, just know that you go to explain, Taya.
You go to explain because no evidence.
You have no evidence to back it. I mean, I just want to also ask this question before we wrap up, right? Now, we've spoken at length about honesty, when to be, but I want us to just look at this, and then you ladies can help me. When should we be having this conversation? You meet someone, like Esinam just said, they have the things you want and some that you don't want. When should you have this conversation so that we don't end up where we started with this soundbite? Years into the marriage, and you are the fly on the wall hearing this, Yael.
No, you have this conversation at the beginning. I'll use myself. I've been married seven years. I have 3 kids. I remember the first time I saw my husband, immediately I thought my husband looked good. Immediately walking through the door, I was like, who is that? And I didn't know that he thought the same thing of me.
Yeah,
we started as friends, and this whole conversation, when we started as friends, was about, we started out very light. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? And also looks came into that. I have natural hair. I've always had natural hair. I don't wear makeup. I don't even know how to apply makeup. I'll look like a clown if I try.
Me too. I can draw my brows.
I can't do anything. I can do some little mascara. And I asked my husband when we were still dating, how do you feel about these things? How do you feel about the certain type of dressing? And he told me. And thankfully, everything that he told me was exactly who I was. So it let me know that before he even spoke to me, he already scoped me out to see that I was somebody that he wanted, and that was a man with intention. That was somebody who knew what they were looking for, and they went after it. I knew that I liked him immediately as I saw him. So, when you first enter into your courtship and it's still around having, you're still in that phase of having friends, be honest with one another. Don't go after somebody that you feel like you got to change and fix up. That's just counterproductive. That takes too much energy for me. If I got to go into the relationship and play a fixer-upper. Go after what you want so that later down the line, if natural things happen such as childbirth, age, then we deal with that together. And let's have realistic expectations. Please stop letting social media think for you when it comes to looks and age, because most of these people are using filters.
Yeah.
They don't look like that in real life.
Yeah. Rhoda.
Yeah, I honestly think that we should also understand that people would not have everything that we want. And so this whole idea about go for what you want, you could end up chasing shadows and it would be a mirage. You know, you're not perfect. No one is perfect. And so what is it that you're looking for? So this whole even men settle, women settle, in the end, we all have to settle because you realize that the one who is you say you love and is so beautiful has some flaws. It might not be physical looks. It might be something else. And so in order not to be chasing shadows and going after what you might never get, you have to stop at some point and say, this is the one I have. You know, she might not have X, but she has Y. Like, so it shouldn't be packaged as an insult, you know, because honestly, you won't have it all. You know, you won't have it all. And so you might not have A, but you have B. It shouldn't be, you know, branded the way that in the sound clip, it was as if, oh, you can't do that. I think you said it better. You can't do this, but you can cook. You are this, but, you know, but yeah, you know, I don't have this, but I have that. It is, we should be able to mathematically be honest and say, this is the person I'm going to marry. She has A, she doesn't have B, but yeah, it's perfect. It is not insulting. I mean, it is, you know,
the same way that he said you have a droopy face, but you can cook. He could have just done the opposite and just gone with someone who doesn't have a droopy face but can cook and then get a chef. I mean,
yeah, but my point is, so then the person who doesn't have a droopy face doesn't have a weakness. They would have a weakness. And so people have weaknesses. And so whatever it is, you're going to need to settle, you know, and say that, look, in spite of your weakness, I still like you. And so it's about, these are the positives, these are the negatives. What are you going to do?
You have to compromise.
You know, compromise
like,
is
you're
important.
Not perfect.
We keep saying, go for what you want, go for what you want. You're not going to get everything you want.
But in understanding that you're not perfect and someone is accepting you the way you are, you are also knowing that you're also going to be accepting somebody for the way they are. Just that what matters to you, they must have it. That's all.
Okay, I'm going to read a few messages we have, and then I'll come to you ladies on how should we be having honest conversation. Like, you guys have to say it in 30 seconds. Okay, so wow, my heart is broken for her wherever she is. For his friends to have the guts to describe her in that manner means such convos have been going on in her absence, just like the lady said. To the extent of them talking about her in their home means he lets them. He has never protected her. The disrespect. He sold her cheap to his friends to slaughter. I can't imagine my guys talking about my woman like this. They won't even dare. That's from Nana Kwesi. And that's a
man who wants to protect you would.
How can you feel comfortable to walk in somebody's house and say that about their wife?
I mean, then Dede says, very interesting topic. I can confidently say that most men don't know what they want. They will marry the holy churches once, just like Rhoda said, yet still come after slay queens. They normally leave their wives at home, go out and chill with slim, beautiful girls. I really don't understand men. No, my sister, we don't either. And then Edmond says, good evening, panelists. Good topic for discussion. What should be the key communication strategies in discussing honest issues with our partners? I think I'll let the ladies end with this. What should be the strategy? How should we be having this honest conversation? 30 seconds.
With kindness.
Kindness.
Just be direct. Don't beat around the bush. Just say, babe, I love you. I love that you're intelligent. I love that you're helpful and industrious. But there are a few things that I would want to work on with you, if you don't mind. These are a few things that I'm not so okay with. And the person also needs to be open enough to understand that, you know, so having an open mind to receive the criticism and feedback, and then also the person offering the feedback being kind in their feedback, even though they are being honest. I think those are the two important things in having a very good conversation. Else, I can become very defensive when you start telling me my wrongs, and that won't